Good morning, Ms. Riley. This is Ms. Strong.
Good morning. Yes.
No, I'm not an alternate. I'm not.
Oh. Hello.
Wait. Can you hear me, Ms. Riley?
Yes, I can hear you, Ms. Strong.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you all receive the Orca B calendar for today?
I have an Orca B final plea and an Orca E final plea.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you all received it. All right, thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
He might be on computer. Ms. Smith.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Judge Long, and we're going to begin with our Fulton County State Criminal Misdemeanor Status Calendar. Otherwise, we call that the Orca calendar. This is a list of misdemeanor cases which have already been accused. The defendants have already been provided a bond. And some of the cases may have been arraigned. Some of the cases may have a waiver of arraignment filed. But in any event, what we're trying to see is if we are going to hold either a plea hearing or a request for a bench trial, get a status of discovery, see whether there are any outstanding motions to be addressed, or whether the parties have decided they would like to have the case set for a jury trial. But in any event, if you are a defendant who is not currently represented by the either public defense counsel or a private attorney, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. This is a virtual and live streamed proceeding. So please keep in mind that anything you say is not only going to be recorded and documented, but also used against you by the prosecutors. You have a right to an attorney. If you are a defendant who has not yet consulted with the public defense office, then you do have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one could be appointed to represent you if you qualify for the services of the public defender's office. However, if you've already spoken to the public defense office and you do not qualify for their services, then you are expected either to hire your own private attorney and show up in court with your counsel, or you may choose to waive counsel and represent yourself. Please keep in mind that if you represent yourself, you are responsible for understanding how the law applies to the specific facts of your case and how any legal decision you make based on your understanding of the law and how that would impact your personal situation. In other words, you are responsible for any legal decision that you make with regards to the substantive issues of your case. Ms. Renee Rockwell, could you, what was the name of the defendant in your case? I think we had reset that case. The other attorney was Prescott Halliburton.
Yes, Judge, and that's going to be Mr. Littlefield.
Littlefield. Okay, if you hold, Ms. Casey Strong is going to confirm the case has been reset. I do not have a date yet, so
Everybody,
we'll put something in the chat to you. Okay.
thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. Rockwell. Oh, well, you want to hang on to the Zoom until Ms. Casey Strong.
Right. I'll just stand down.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see now. Do I have any private attorneys on the Zoom? If you're a private counsel, this is the time to chime up.
John Ford, you're on.
Mr. Ford.
Good morning. Good morning. I've got Mr. John Van Drent.
Yes, you represent Mr. John Van Drent. Mr. Van Drent is present. And who is prosecuting this matter?
Your Honor, that would be my case.
Ms.
However,
Riley?
yes, I do not have the signed paperwork from Mr. Ford or Mr. Van Drent.
All right, let's see. This is here for a final plea on case 20 CR 004632Y. Why? Mr. Van Drent, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. Tom Ford. Mr. Ford, did you by any chance have the plea paperwork reviewed and signed up by your client?
I don't know. I thought we'd sent that in, but now that the council says that, that was something I was supposed to take care of before today, and I've not done that.
Okay, so
I
let's
guess-
do it.
Yes,
Let's do it now then. I mean, I'm really got
Right.
all morning set aside for you.
Right.
So,
right. I assume we can get it knocked out on the play. Council, do you have my email address? I can send it to the client.
Yes, would you like for me to send you my email address, or you're saying you do not have the plea paperwork?
I don't believe I have it, Council. I don't think I
Okay.
got it.
Ms. Riley, why don't we resend it? Do you have Mr. Ford's email address?
I do not. So if you can send me that in the chat, Mr. Ford.
Great.
Sure.
All right.
Tom Ford Lawyer at gmail.com.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Van Drent and Mr. Ford, if you'd like to mute your screen. Mr. Van Drent, your attorney will send you some paperwork to review, and you and he will confer about the questions in that paperwork. And once that's completed, we will proceed with your plea hearing. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other private counsel on the Zoom, please? Okay. We have Miss Sterlicia Battle from Orca B final plea calendar. And Miss Battle has she sent you the paperwork, Ms. Rowe?
I haven't received it yet.
I think they're all
Okay.
All right, we're going to print up the plea paperwork for Miss Battle for her to review. And once she has completed it, please make sure that she has the waiver of counsel also documents.
Okay. Just hang on.
Okay. As soon as she's completed the paperwork, we can proceed with her plea hearing. And who's prosecuting that matter?
Your Honor, Miss Battle are also my cases.
Ms. Riley, all right?
Yes.
All right, the other case I have here is Roger Lee Connor. Are you Mr. Connor? Is he still in the courtroom? Yes, ma'am. All right, Mr. Connor, if you'd like to walk up to the podium, please. Thank you. All right, Mr. Roger Lee Connor is case 20 CR 001592Y. He was accused of cruelty in the third degree and battery family violence from February 23rd, 2020. Mr. Connor had considered a plea offer in this case. And who's prosecuting this matter?
That is also my case, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Riley, could you restate the plea offer from the solicitor's office? And Mr.
Certainly.
Connor, please listen. This is important for you.
Certainly. Your Honor, count 1, the cruelty to children, would merge with count 2, the battery family violence. So it would be a plea to count 2, 12 months probation, a family violence intervention program, and a $300 fine.
All right. So, Mr. Connor, did you understand what the prosecutor said?
Yeah.
All right. And is that something you'd like to consider accepting today?
No.
All right. First of all, I don't know how often you've been in a formal proceeding, but you need to take that stick out of your mouth. Thank you. All right. And second of all, what would you like to do with regards to your case?
I'd like to get a public defender.
Well, you don't qualify, so you have to go get a private
At the
attorney.
time, I was working at the time, and at Coca-Cola, they found that I had that on my records. They fired me. I haven't been working since I came to court last time.
All right. Mr. Javier Trejo, are you the one who's going to be interviewing defendants for public defense?
Yes, Your Honor, I can handle that.
Okay. How would you like him to communicate with you? He's in the courtroom.
The best way for me to give him a phone call, if he could provide his phone number to the court, I can write it down here and give him a call, and confirm whether he qualifies for our services at this time.
All right, Mr. Lee, what's your phone number? All right, while we're waiting for Mr. Lee to speak to the PD again. All right, we are waiting for Ms. Battle to review paperwork, Mr. Lee to speak to the PD's office, Mr. Ford to speak to his client. Next one I have is Mr. Trejo. Ms. Casey Strong is going to send you Mr. Lee's phone number in the chat.
Great,
Right.
thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, pardon the interruption.
You're not allowed to leave the courthouse. You just can stand in the hallway and wait for counsel's phone call.
Pardon the interruption, Your Honor. Does Ms. Strong already have Ms. Battle's paperwork, or do I need to send that to Ms. Strong?
We have the paperwork that Ms. Battle had received, so we're just printing it up for her to review. And then if she agrees to everything, we will proceed with the plea.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next one I have is Austin Joyner. Austin Joyner,
Good morning, Your Honor.
good morning.
I
And
apologize. I'm having some video connectivity issues, but my audio, I hope, is coming through clear. I'm here for Mr. Austin Joyner. He is represented by the Public Defender's Office. We are requesting a jury trial for Mr. Joyner, and I think I'm just waiting for that case management order to sign on behalf of Mr. Joyner.
right, let me just check on one thing. Mr. Joyner has got a history of not appearing in court. I don't see where his case has been arraigned. It looks like he just kept missing his plea and arraignment calendar without any excuse. Are you planning to file a waiver of arraignment?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay, once, do not leave the Zoom until we see that waiver of arraignment. And then we will go ahead and sign the case management order this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Who should I send it to?
Casey Strong, she will put her email in the chat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is the defendant present in court today?
He's on the Zoom call.
I see a
Yes.
Mr. Joyner there. Is that the correct, is that Austin Joyner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so, Miss Helen and Mr. Joyner, do not leave the Zoom until we see the waiver of arraignment, and then we will submit a case management order.
Okay, Your Honor, I'll go ahead and create that and send it.
By the way, has Mr. Joyner ever heard of the plea recommendation from the state, if there's one?
Yes, Your Honor, we did speak at length about that plea, but again, when I spoke to him, this is not a case he's going to accept any type of plea of guilty from the state, and that's why we're requesting that jury trial on behalf of Mr. Joyner.
Understood. Okay, so do not leave. Mr. Joyner, please place your screen on mute until your attorney has completed sending all the paperwork. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so. Okay, is there anyone else's case I have to address? Let me see. Mr. Trejo, is that, no, he's talking. I have Mike Ruffle. Yes. Mr. Ruffle, do you have any cases for me to address at the present time? I'm sorry, you're on mute, Mr. Ruffle?
No, I do not have any on this calendar. I was supposed to be present in case any were picked up.
Okay. No, I think we're good. So I'm just waiting to get Miss Rockwell, the status on Littlefield, and waiting on Mr. Ford to confer with his client, and then waiting on Miss Battle Rear. So I'm in a holding pattern right now.
Okay, well, I'll leave everything to Mr. Trejo and Miss
Okay, thank you.
Already, the public.
All right, so I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Miss Helen, okay.
Mr. Ford, how are we looking?
Your Honor, I've not received the plea waiver, the paperwork to send to Mr. Van Grant. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
He and I,
still
he and,
getting
he and I,
that.
have- he and I have spoken. He's accepted the plea. It's just a matter of going through the formalities. So
Okay,
we're ready to go. Thank you.
hang tight, Ms. Riley, sending it to you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm still working on it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
By the way, for the case that's been reset, State versus Littlefield, who is prosecuting that matter?
I am, Your Honor, Erica Marshall Story.
Ms. Marshall Story, Defense Counsel had submitted a request for a reset due to a medical reason. Ms. Rockwell has kindly stepped in just in case. Did you want an opportunity to speak with her about the case?
No, I don't believe that's necessary, Your Honor. I have had extensive conversation with Attorney Halliburton, and he did let me know yesterday that, well, actually, he forwarded me the medical notation and told me that Ms. Rockwell would be filling in for him today.
Okay.
So he's well aware of the offer.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right, folks, we'll be in hold until we get everyone ready with the paperwork. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Battle, what's your question?
Oh, did I not have a public defender to go over this with me?
No, you don't, you were representing yourself, weren't you?
Oh, okay, so they don't read me these, right?
You read that and I thought you were representing yourself.
Okay. I thought they just still reading to me so that I can better understand. Okay, so what is the LVIP? What is that? I see it's like 12-month probation, LVIP, and 40 hours of community service.
Just 1 second.
Okay.
All right, Miss Riley, this is Miss Battle's case.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Forward the email to me. I'm sorry, okay. Could you forward me that email? Oh, sure. So I'm on the same page with the paperwork.
Oh, Judge, it's two different cases.
All right. So Miss Battle, you have two cases, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So from what I recall, you did not qualify for the public defender's office and you chose to represent yourself. Then you spoke to the prosecutor and you accepted the plea offer.
Right.
You had problems printing it out.
Right.
As far as I know, you're representing yourself. So I'm looking at, first of all, which case now, look at the case number at the top right-hand corner. Is that ending with 1529Y?
Yes.
Okay. So it says, simple battery, FV stands for family violence.
Okay.
And it says that you will agree to 12 months of probation. That's what MP stands for.
Mm-hmm.
FVIP means that while you're on probation, you will complete a 6-month family violence intervention program. It is a weekly classes, it's 6 months long, and that you will attend and complete those classes at your expense. In addition to that, you will do 40 hours of voluntary community service. That's what the CS stands for. And that while you're on probation, you're to have no violent or harassing contact with Kenneth Hudson.
Okay.
That's what it means.
Okay.
All right. And if I'm looking at your other plea paperwork, I only have the first page. Is there a second page to this? It's Riley on 1529. Oh, I see. It's 2 emails. Miss Riley, do we have plea paperwork? Oh, hang on, let me see. Okay. 1532. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So in the second case ending with 1532Y, Miss Battle,
Mm-hmm.
it simply says that you will complete that sentence at the same time as the first case, but you will have an additional 10 hours of community service. So for all cases, you have a total of 50 hours of voluntary community service.
Okay, and so both cases, I'm taking a class for 6 months, and that's for both cases. So when I go into class for one case, it's really both cases, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha.
All right. So if you'd like to set back and finish doing the paperwork, we appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
And Your Honor, I apologize for interrupting you. I believe I've sent Ms. Strong the waiver of arraignment.
Okay. Let's see. She will get with you about the waiver. Mr. Trejo, what's your discussion with Mr. Lee?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on our conversations, it does appear that at this time, he will be qualifying for the public defender services.
Okay. This case was scheduled today for a final plea. How would you like to proceed?
I think the best way to move forward today would be to pre-try the case with whichever solicitor is going to be handling it. At that point, I can speak to Mr. Connor, and we can determine whether that's something that we'll be handling today, or what the best way to move forward is.
Okay.
Obviously, if it's an offer that he's willing to go ahead and take today, then I'm happy to move forward with him. If it's something that the sense is that there's some discovery, or there's some materials that we should review prior to entering a plea, my inclination is always to at the very least review some of that prior to entering a plea. But again, I would like to at least speak with one of the solicitors, and not wait, for lack of a better term, waste the court's time today.
Oh, you're not wasting my time. I'm going to be here all morning. I look forward to every step of the way.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So I think Miss Riley is addressing this case, Roger Lee Connor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Place you in a breakout room with Mr. Trejo.
Okay.
And while you are discussing your case between the attorneys, I'm going to send Mr. Lee up to the clerk's office to update his address. He's failed to appear in court on June 29. Excuse me, let me see. He's had a series of failures to appear, and it appears every time it's an issue with his mail. So I'm going to send him up to the clerk's office to update his current address, and hopefully he'll come back down and be ready to address. And Mr. Freire, you have his phone number, so you can call him if you want to convey any plea offer to him.
That's right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Smith, if we may place Ms. Riley and Mr. Trejo in a breakout room. Mr. Lee, you need to go up to the first floor to the clerk's office and provide them an ID and update your mailing address in writing. Now,
The water is in my truck outside.
go get your ID, then come back in, go up to the first floor and update your mailing address, because I don't know what's wrong with your mailing address, but you don't seem to get our mail.
What address you?
I don't know. You tell me what your address is. Oh, maybe you have I feel like I'm imposing on this morning. We're still waiting on Mr. Ford and
She sent me. I'm wondering if she sent the plea to Mr.
do you have a completed plea document? No. Okay. And do we get a chance to get on Mr. Matthew Littlefield's? It's reset, isn't it?
Oh, that is, Ms. Bolton's case at 11:30, so she's on, she would need to, address that case.
Could you put Ms. Bolton's email to Ms. Rockwell?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Ms. Rockwell?
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Well, Ms. Githia, good morning. What's going on? Do you have any cases with us at 9 o'clock?
Not at 9 o'clock, but I had two on the bench trial calendar at 1:30, and I've submitted null process, and I just wanted to see if you received them.
Yes, I have null pros, State versus Robert Strozier and State versus Bell. So
I think the other one was added in error, Judge. So we're done. We're good on the bench trial.
So, and the third case, Ms. Strong is indicating that it may not go forward. So let me see, the third one was Perry Anthony Johnson, represented by Mr. Waldrop.
I'm not familiar with that one, Your Honor.
Angela Waldrop. Angela Waldrop, is she?
I think, no, Judge, I think that was added in error because he was an FTA last time.
Okay.
So other than that, those were the only two cases on the bench trial calendar this afternoon.
It shows FT in court today, so that would not be possible.
Right. I don't even know how to.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I will.
So yes, Ms. Githia, two of those cases, Strozier and Bell are out.
Okay.
The only one we're trying to figure out is Johnson.
And I'm not familiar, I don't have any records of that one at all.
Harry Anthony Johnson. Yeah, Ms. Casey Strong is looking into it, so please hold.
Okay.
Ms. Renee Rockwell, are you,
I sent her Ms. Bolton's email address in the chat, and told her that she would be the one responsible for resetting that case.
okay.
Ms. Rockwell just indicated she needed to sign into a different Zoom.
Okay, I think she may have lost a connection. All righty.
Your Honor, this is Ms. Bolton. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ms. Bolton. Yeah,
I'll be down in just a moment. I was just getting some paperwork together.
Okay.
I can reset that for October 28th, but again, I don't know the circumstances in which, the medical reset. I don't know how extensive that is, so I'll have to defer to counsel to see how much time is needed.
Okay. I don't know, Ms. Rockwell is just stepping in for Mr. Halliburton, but Ms. Bolton, her email is Renee Rockwell, one word, @gmail.com.
Okay.
And just go ahead and let her know that the case is presently reset to October 28th. And if Mr. Halliburton needs additional time, then he will submit the appropriate motion.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Rockwell, it's October 28th presently, but if Mr. Halliburton needs more time, please let him know to advise the court in a timely fashion. Otherwise, you're free to go. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And Ms. Helen, have you submitted the waiver of arraignment?
I have, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to release you and Mr. Joyner, and we will issue the case management order. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Judge. You have a great morning, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Mr. Joyner, you're excused, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ford? Are
Yes,
we
Ms.
ready?
Raleigh. Ms. Raleigh, are you available?
Miss who?
Madam Prosecutor.
Repeat.
Back on.
Tom, who,
Yeah.
who are you asking about?
Well, whoever my solicitor is that sent me on this case. Whoever
Oh,
sent
Miss
me the-
Denise Riley.
Yeah, is she available?
She might be in the breakout.
I think she sent me an email that reflected the initial offer, not the
Okay,
final distillation of our discussions.
all right. As soon as she
You
comes
got-
back on, I will make sure she
And-
speaks with you.
And the other wrinkle, Your Honor, is I don't believe my client has the capacity to print out and sign the documents. I guess we had assumed there'd be an electronic signature component.
Either that, or if you want to sign off on his behalf. We are doing
Well,
with express permission.
I could authorize Madam Prosecutor and or the court to do so. Because I'm in the same predicament in terms of being able to physically sign and scan it back in. I'm ill-equipped to do that. I can do so electronically. He understands all the parameters of the rights waived in the plea. Once we go from 30 days to 48 hours, we're on the same page there. So we could do it if we get past the signature issue.
That's fine. I'm not gonna put a fuss about it if you don't.
No, we're not. It's the only other variable is I do know he's going to have the country the 17th, the 27th of this month, which we had discussed last round as well. So I'm sure we can accommodate it, and I'm sure you want to move the case and get it done. So I'll give you success here if we can get it there.
All right. So I just need you and Miss Riley to be on the same page with the terms of the offer. Miss Githia is if you have an opportunity to text Miss Riley and let her know that she needs to speak to Mr. Ford.
Okay.
Miss Riley still on the breakout?
Thanks much, John.
Mr. Ford?
Yes, Shannon.
This is ASG Sarita Get the Air. Could you please put your number in the chat? You can send it to me and I'll give it to Miss Riley.
I can give it to you right now if you got a second. Yeah. 404 229 0284.
Okay, I'll give it to her.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Judge Law, I have an update for the court when you're ready.
All right, Ms. Riley, we're almost ready with the Miss Battle. She just needs to sign the her waiver of counsel documents.
Yes, Your
And
Honor. I
you're
was
ready?
still in the breakout room with Mr. Trevejo, but I did have an opportunity to call Attorney Ford while in that breakout room. I'm not sure where Attorney Ford is, why he's no longer on the Zoom. His
Mr.
client is
Van-
still here.
Hang on, Mr. Van Durant, if you can get in touch with your attorney, he's connecting now.
Okay.
All right, do you need to go in a breakout with him to go over the terms?
No, Your Honor, I spoke with him on my cell phone while Mr. Trejo was speaking with Mr. Lee.
Okay, let's address Mr. John Van Durant's case. What is the issue?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. So when counsel and I spoke, previous counsel and I spoke, I guess in August, we had nailed down the parameters of an offer, and I conveyed the same to the client, and we had prepared to enter into it, resolve it today.
Your Honor, the offer that was conveyed on August the 12th, the last time this calendar was, or last time this case was on the calendar, is not the offer that I conveyed, and Mr. Ford does not recall which attorney, which ASG he spoke with.
Okay, so let's talk about your offer, Ms. Riley. He's charged with improper left turn, basic rules, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, and DUI under the influence of alcohol less safe. What is your offer?
My offer includes significant jail time. That is the sticking point. It is a fourth in life DUI. It would be 12 months to serve 30 days. The balance on probation, a $1,000 fine, 240 hours of community service, alcohol and drug evaluation, any treatment that is recommended, risk reduction, 2 victim impact panels, no drugs or alcohol.
All right.
There would be the option of DUI court. The offer that was relayed to Mr. Ford only included 48 hours of jail time, and I cannot consent to that.
All right.
And so I'm not, I don't begrudge the state for the position based upon where we're at, but I also, the court can recognize, I think, and counsel recognizes that it is, the offer that I was saying was communicated and that we had our minds around was also a lawful offer based upon the timing of the DUIs, et cetera. So I'll circle back when we're next on this calendar, and we'll be able to relay to the court which of the potential ASGs conveyed that offer, not to the state.
Actually, Mr. Ford, I'm more curious to know where you received the 48-hour offer and from whom.
Well, that's the thing is I can't tell you which of the 2 potential ASGs.
Do you have a copy of the email or the information that you received so that you could convey that information to your client?
I'm going to look. I've looked in the email. I don't think I've got an email.
What was the last court date that?
It was, I guess, the 12th. Is that one? Right. And my client's just.
Let me see. This was Orca E final plea. And I'm not inclined to reset this, considering it's already been reset for a final plea. So I'm assuming, let me see, it was August 12th. Can someone tell me who was the ASGs on duty for the August 12th calendar?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm going through my emails. It looks like I sent that email to him.
All right.
Going through my notes.
And Ms. Githia, did you offer 48 hours?
I'm going through my email now. I did say 48 hours.
Okay, and that's what was conveyed to the client. So Ms. Githia, if you want to take that plea, that's the offer that you sent on behalf of the Solicitor General's office.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just going through my notes. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, so do you have the documents that you sent to Mr. Ford?
I do.
All right, Mr. Ford, delete the emails from Miss Denise Riley, Miss Sarita Githia.
Githia,
Is going
yes.
to resend you her email.
Again, it wouldn't the fee waiver and everything be the same? He can sign off on it.
You're going to double check.
Yeah, well, the offer is the only thing we're different. We can fix that in a second. Everything else is the same.
Right, but
And
Miss Githia will be taking the plea, not Miss Riley.
That's fine. And you guys are doing the signing for us anyway. I didn't think I was crazy.
So you have to have the paperwork?
Yeah, the proceedings live stream, so I can't comment on Mr. Ford's state of mind, but I can.
Crazier than normal. I mean, I guess.
All right, so Ms. Githia and Mr. Ford, please go ahead and get the documents squared away. Let's see now. All right, Ms. Riley, you're off the Van Brent case, and we're going to put Ms. Githia as the. Moving on.
Okay, Your Honor, I just want to make sure that it will be different paperwork because my signature is attached to the current paperwork.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ms. Githia is going to resend the documents.
Okay.
All right.
Do you need my email, Ms. Githia?
I can send it.
I'll give you Tom Ford.
All right, and Ms. Riley and Mr. Javier Trejo, have you all moved forward in Mr. Connor's case?
That's right, Your Honor. So, Mr. Connor, we spoke after Ms. Riley and I were in the breakout room. He's on his way back to the courtroom from the clerk's office. Yes, ma'am. And he indicated to me that he would like the case to be placed on a trial calendar.
He would like to be placed what?
On a trial calendar.
Ma'am, he would like to be set for a jury trial.
For a jury trial?
Yes,
Okay, so I'm going to arraign his case today. And then we will issue a case management order. Okay, here he comes. Thank you. Mr. Connor, if you'd like to come forward to the podium. And Ms. Riley, please don't go too far. We are going to go ahead and do Ms. Battle's plea as well. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And yeah, Mr. Connor, you have, this is case 20 CR 001-592Y. State versus Roger Lee Connor, accused of battery, domestic violence, and cruelty in the third degree from February 23rd, 2020. Mr. Connor, you've already been advised of your right to remain silent, and upon further determination, you qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office. Your attorney has conferred with the prosecutor, and it appears that you're declining the plea offer and would like your case scheduled for a jury trial. So this will be continued to be an open pending case against you, and we are going to arraign the case. In other words, you're going to enter a plea of not guilty since you're requesting a jury trial, and your case will be arraigned and further notice for trial. A case management order will be issued in which both sides will be required to comply with the requirements of that order, and then the case will be scheduled for trial before the division judge. Mr. Trejo, do you waive for reading of the accusation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. So, Mr. Roger Connor, you've been accused of the 2 misdemeanor offenses allegedly occurring on February 23rd, 2020 in Fulton County, Georgia. These are misdemeanor offenses, and you are legally presumed innocent of these charges until the case goes to trial, where the prosecution would have the complete burden to prove the 2 charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state prevails and overcomes the legal presumption of innocence, you could be convicted of 1 or more of these charges and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. The sentences could be served separately or they could be served together, that is concurrently. Given this information, how do you plead?
I'm gonna take the plea that y'all offered.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Trejo, your client would like to now take the plea offer. So if you'd like to remain seated, Ms. Riley is going to send you the paperwork, and then you're going to go over the paperwork with your attorney, and then we'll take the plea this afternoon. This is your final decision for a plea. Do you understand? Please have a seat and
Do you need this or?
what is that? That's your updated address? Did you file it upstairs?
Yeah.
That's your copy. You hang on to it. Miss Battle, please come forward. Miss Riley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Deputy, has she signed the two documents?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
excellent. Thank you. That's all right. Okay, thank you. All right, we are addressing two cases involving Sterlicia Battle. She is scheduled on the Orca final plea calendar. Ms. Battle, I've already advised you of your right to remain silent, and you do have a right to an attorney, but based on your last conference with the Public Defender's Office, you have chosen to represent yourself. You have read through the waiver of counsel. Do you have any questions about what you've read with regards to the waiver of counsel?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you've chosen to represent yourself. The two cases that you have before us are 20 CR 001529Y, in which you were accused of simple battery domestic violence from November 23rd, 2018. And the second case is 20 CR 001532Y, in which you were accused of simple battery domestic violence and criminal trespass domestic violence from February 9th, 2020. With regards to both cases, you have decided to accept the state's recommendation, and so we're going to have a plea hearing. Do you have any questions about what you've read and what you've signed off on?
No.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Riley is the prosecutor, and I'm just simply going to ask her what was the recommendation she made. Ms. Riley, we're going to begin with the 20 CR case ending in 1529Y.
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is 12 months probation, a family violence intervention program, 40 hours of community service. And she is to have no violent or harassing contact with the victim, Kenneth Hudson.
All right. And what is the recommendation for case ending in 20 CR 1532Y?
It is 12 months probation concurrent with a case ending in 1529Y with an additional 10 hours of community service.
Right. Ms. Battle, you've read the documents, you've heard the prosecutor. I've explained to you what these terms are. In order for me to proceed with the plea hearing, you would also need to agree that the factual basis for these charges in both the cases, the location of where these alleged offenses occurred, that is in Fulton County, and that the identity of the defendant, that is you, are all true and correct.
Yes.
Would you agree that the factual basis is correct?
Yes.
Do you agree that the location of the offenses are correct?
Yes.
And would you agree that the identity of the defendant is correct?
Correct. Yes.
Ms. Battle, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood everything that's been going on so far?
Yes.
And has anyone forced you or induced you to take a plea today?
No.
And are you entering a plea today to these charges freely, knowingly, and intelligently?
Yes.
Meaning you've read through all the documents and you understand what rights you're waiving and what are the terms of the sentence that you're agreeing to?
Yes.
It's going to be probation. It's going to be community service.
Yes.
It's going to be the domestic violence classes.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to waive all your probation fees. All right. So you don't have to pay probation fees, but you're going to have to report to probation every month.
Okay.
All right. So that's That's something I'm giving to you right now.
Okay,
And you're gonna save your money to pay for those classes.
okay,
Good?
gotcha.
So right now, I need you to understand that if you take this plea offer today, you will not go back to court and have a trial in front of a judge or a jury.
Yes,
Waive your right to a trial. You will have to waive your right to confront your accuser, examine witnesses, be able to challenge the evidence presented against you by the prosecutor, be able to present any defenses if you choose to do so, and also waive your right to have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
yes,
How do you plead to one count of simple battery domestic violence from November 23rd, 2018?
guilty.
How do you plead to simple battery and criminal trespass, both domestic violence, from February 9th, 2020?
Guilty.
Right? Your sentence is going to be concurrent. That means it's going to be the same sentence for both cases. All right? It's going to be
Hey,
12
Mr. Carter, this is Javier Trejo again.
Oh, just one second, Mr.
Hey, I'm
Gray.
doing all right. Hey,
Your sentence is 12 months probation. You will complete, as I said, a 6-month domestic violence intervention program. And as I have indicated, I'm waiving your probation fees. So please begin the program as soon as you have the funds so that you can complete it and have that behind you.
Gotcha.
It's a weekly program, but as long
Is it on the weekends or throughout the week?
the probation officer will give you a list of schools that offer this program, and then you can select the schools and their schedules that fit you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You will do 40 hours of community service in one case and 10 hours of community service in the second case. Total 50 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, which is not a school and not a religious organization. All right.
Gotcha.
So at this time of the year, the Atlanta Food Bank really loves to have volunteers. Was it the Williams Thanksgiving event?
Gotcha.
All right, you get to meet some real housewives of Atlanta, I'm told. They're all supposed to work there, so please, well, they do it voluntarily, not because. All right, there are lots of programs where you can, where they will really appreciate your voluntary service, okay?
Gotcha.
Kenneth Hudson, is still, that gentleman still in your life?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's my child father.
Okay. While you're on 12 months probation, there cannot be any physical or verbal altercations with him or no harassing contact. All right?
Okay.
So if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Just turn around and walk away.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Okay. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street. And
this where I go to sign up.
yes. Okay. It's going to be at 132 Mitchell Street. You report there next Thursday. And try to get there by anywhere between 9 and 3 o'clock. Okay? This is. Any questions about where to report for probation?
No, you said 132 Mitchell Street, correct?
Right, it's in downtown Atlanta. This is the second case. Okay. And you report there next Thursday, which is October 6th, 2022. And try to get there before 3 p.m. They will open a probation case and get you started. And the sooner you finish, the better it would be for you.
Okay, so do I have another court date?
There's no other court date. This case is, both cases are closed now. Your only date now is with probation. Make sure you do appear. Otherwise, they issue probation warrants for arrest.
Gotcha.
All right. Yes, Mr. Ms. Riley, I'm sorry, I misspoke. You did say that the criminal trespass was going to merge into the simple battery, right?
I'm sorry, I did not say that, but that, yes, it's only a plea to the one count
Okay, for the second case?
for the second case, yes.
All right, so Ms. Battle, on the case ending in 1532Y, let me correct the sentence. You're only pleading guilty to simple battery domestic violence. The second count, criminal trespass domestic violence merges. All right,
Okay.
so it's only to simple battery.
And are these misdemeanors? What are they?
Yeah, misdemeanor charges. Okay, now I think we've cleaned it up. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you very much. We'll give you a copy of your paperwork and then you're free to go.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Riley, when you get a chance, send the plea paperwork for Mr. Connor to Attorney Trejo so that he can.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm working on that now.
All right,
Thank you.
Mr. Trejo, is he still here? Is he stepped outside to talk to Mr. Connor? Mr. Connor, step outside, okay. All right, and Ms. Githia, you've sent the paperwork to Mr. Ford?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so whenever they're ready, we're good to go. You don't forget to sign right below that. Oh, let me do it. Thank you.
Please make sure the plea paperwork is signed and signed. I actually followed, and then when you finish, what you want.
What was it?
For Mr. Johnson, so he is on our calendar for today, because Mr. Jordan, Judge Williams said he could reset this page. Anyway, when I called him, he didn't answer. And then the other number that was on there was not a working number.
We tried, so you better show up.
But I'm just wondering because since
Mr. Trejo, did you speak to your client, Mr. Connor?
I did, Your Honor. I gave him a brief call just to make sure that he understood the consequences of taking a plea, that he completely understood his options. Based on my conversation with him, Your Honor, and I think he'll confirm this in person, he does still want to move forward with trial rather than entering a plea today.
All right, Mr. Connor, if you'd like to come up forward to the podium. All right, to resume your case, 20 CR 001-592Y, as I was explaining to you, upon your entry of a not guilty plea to battery, domestic violence, and cruelty in the third degree, your case will be scheduled for a trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecution has the complete burden to prove the two charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the prosecution does carry its burden of proof and the judge or the jury does convict you, you could be facing a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. The sentences could be served together or could be served separately. That's just the hard facts. Your attorney also has given you other options. So now I need to ask you, how are you pleading to these charges?
Not guilty.
All right. This case has been arraigned. A case management order will be issued. The Public Defender's Office represents Mr. Connor. Mr. Connor, please make sure that your address and your contact information is current with us at all times. If it changes, you need to come down to the courthouse and change it just like the way you did this morning. All right? If you fail to appear, it's like I saw on your calendar quite a few times.
I know Mr. Court did.
All right. If you miss a court date, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest.
I know that.
All right. Thank you, sir. You're free to go. Oh, hang on. You need to sign one more thing before you leave. All right, Mr. Trejo, that completes Mr. Connor's case as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, and so that concludes my Orca B 9 a.m. calendar. Please taken in positions 1 and 2 and arraigned and further notice for trial in position 3. The Orca E status calendar 9 a.m. That's a waiver of arraignment and further notice for a jury trial. And that leaves me with the Orca E final plea calendar, just waiting on Mr. Van Drent and Mr. Ford to give us the green light.
I think we're a go, Your Honor.
That's it.
All right. Okay, and Mr. Ford, on record, you have indicated that your client will sign off on the documents and that you will make sure that the paperwork is with the clerk's office. Can you give me a time frame?
Okay, so the waiver form has been forwarded to my client. He has reviewed the same. He agrees if Your Honor is inclined to sign by express permission, we could do it that way. Or the alternative suggestion is that we have it filed, Your Honor? Is that correct? Is that what you're instructing?
No, we're doing the plea right now, and you can sign off with express permission. And once you've got those documents signed off, I just want to see that we will get those documents within by next Friday. How's that?
I guess I'm misunderstanding. If my client and I are acknowledging that we're agreeing to have our signatures affixed by the court or by Madam Prosecutor. What is it?
You
want Miss Riley? Well, that's fine. Miss.
It's no longer mine. Miss Givier.
Oh, sorry. Miss Givier. Miss Givier, any hangups about signing on behalf with express permission from Mr. Ford?
You want me to sign on behalf of?
Mr. Ford is giving you permission to sign off based on what we do on the record.
Right.
So the court would sign on his behalf?
Anyone can. The court, Madam Prosecutor, yes.
Okay, I will not sign for them.
I'll sign it. Oh my goodness, let's go. All right.
That's yes, in that regard, yes, I understand now.
All right. Counsel for Mr. John Van Drent is giving the court, Judge Law, permission to sign off on the plea documents, as long as Mr. Van Drent expressly states that I have his permission to sign off on the plea documents based on what he states.
You have my permission, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Van Drent. All right. Case 20 CR 004-632Y. State versus John Van Drent. Mr. Van Drent was accused of an improper left turn, basic rules, too fast for conditions, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, and DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, from November 22, 2018, allegedly in Fulton County. Mr. Van Drent is present and represented by counsel, Mr. Tom Ford. Mr. Van Drent's also been advised of his right to remain silent. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing with ASG Sarita Githia based on the plea offer that was sent from her to counsel for the defendant. All right, Mr. Van Drent, for purposes of the plea, may I place you under oath?
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And under oath, you have given the court express permission to sign on your behalf. Thank you. All right, Ms. Githia, what is the plea offer as you communicated to Mr. Ford?
Yes, Your Honor. It's 12 months to serve 48 hours, balance probated, a $600 fine, 60 hours of community service, alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment, risk reduction, 2 victim impact panels, no drugs or alcohol while on probation.
All right. And Mr. Ford, do you stipulate, and is this concurrent? Is that the charge just for the DUI? Or what are we doing with the other charges?
This is for all of the charges, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Ford, I understand that this is going to be a concurrent or global offer for all the charges pending, and they'll be served concurrently. Are those the terms to which your client has agreed?
They are, Your Honor.
And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do.
Thank you. Mr. Van Drent, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood the proceedings as they've happened so far and the explanation by your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And has he gone over the plea documents, your waiver of rights, and the consequences of taking such a plea, as how that may impact your personal situation, your residency, any professional licenses, any possible other open cases, and so forth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. And are you entering a plea freely, willingly, and intelligently?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in doing so, you understand that by entering a plea to these charges, that you have to waive your constitutional rights to a trial before a judge or a jury, to have the opportunity to have assistance of counsel so that you could challenge the state's evidence during the course of a trial, to present any defenses if you choose to do so, to confront your accuser, examine witnesses, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take a plea today?
No, Your Honor.
How do you plead? To 1 count of DUI under the influence of alcohol less safe, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, basic rules, too fast conditions, and improper left turn?
Guilty.
Your sentence is concurrent. It's 12 months to serve 48 hours. As I understand that jail time has already been served, your jail time is concluded. You'll be placed on probation. You will report to the probation office at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta, and you will report next Thursday, October 6th, 2022, before 3 p.m. At the probation office, they will open a probation case and commence with your the process of completing the conditions of your sentence. And they are payment of a $600 fine, completion of 60 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, which is not a school and not a religious organization. You will submit yourself to an alcohol and drug evaluation and complete any treatment that's required by the provider. You will also complete 1 risk reduction program, attend 2 victim impact panels, and during the course of your probation, you shall not consume any illegal drugs and no alcohol, which means that you could be subject to random screens by your probation office. Do you have any questions about your sentence?
Yes, Your Honor. Just for clarity, the duration of which to complete all these tasks are within the 12-month probation period, or is it something other than that?
No, it's within this 12-month period, beginning
Okay.
today.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Ford, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Githia, can you also forward the plea documents to Ms. Casey Strong? And we will make sure they're filed with the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, folks, thank you very much, Mr. Van Dren. Mr. Ford, always a pleasure. You all have a great weekend.
Likewise, Ron. Thank you for your time.
Take care, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Take care, Mr. Van Dren. Okay. So I guess with this case, it's a plea, and that completes our 9 o'clock calendar, which gives me all of 34 minutes to grab a cup of coffee.
Your Honor, have Ms. Strong looked into that other?
Yes, the Johnson case, yes. Mr. Johnson did not appear at the last court date before Judge Williams, and so she had initially announced a bench warrant. However, lo and behold, he showed up right after court concluded and before the bench warrant was issued. So she gave him an opportunity to come back to court today. However, that was an inadvertent slip, and so the solicitor's office was not notified. I'm still going to leave his case on the 1:30 calendar to see if he shows up. And if he does, I'm going to give him an opportunity to see whether he'd like to accept a plea.
Okay, so would you need me to appear down there at 1:30, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
And Your Honor, you did mention that you had like 34 minutes, but I thought the motions calendar started at 11:30.
Oh, good. Then I have an hour and 4 minutes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, folks, I will see you at 11:30 then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.